Hey y'all, welcome back to Shorebound Farms. Chastity here, and I want to show you how I make a stuffed pork loin with crawfish. I haven't made this in a while, but I found some frozen crawfish that we had from last season, and it's a perfect time to make it now if you're eating crawfish and you have some leftover crawfish. We like to peel the rest of ours and stick it in the freezer for different meals like etouffee or maybe some pasta. And but I also make this pork loin that's stuffed with crawfish that I have not made in several years, and I just thought about it whenever I saw some of our leftover crawfish. So Stephen is off getting us some soil from one of our friends and church members that we go to church with. They have a pit that they have some soil, and they also make their own mix, so we're getting some for our raised bed and for our garden out there, that's the regular garden, since we are trying to turn that clay into some good topsoil. So that's exciting. We're getting a move on with our garden. Anyway, for now, let's work on this pork loin. I'm really excited about this because I haven't made it in a while. We're gonna smoke it. I usually put it in the oven, but I'm gonna smoke it this time. Also usually inject it, but I'm gonna try to cut it thinner so that I don't have to inject it with anything. I'm trying to get away from like seed oils and stuff, and I would always use Italian dressing, and it's been several years since I've made this, and during that time we were still under the influence of seed oils, and we're trying to get away from that. Anyhow, with it being so thin, if I cut it thin enough, I shouldn't need to inject it with anything. So we will see how this goes. I'm sure it'll be good. All right, let's get started. Okay, let's see. I have not done this in a while, so we will see how well I cut it. I'm gonna leave this fat on there. No, I'm not. Or am I? Yeah, I'm gonna take this off. I'm gonna take it off because we are actually, there's a piece of bone there too I'm gonna take off. It's gonna be wrapped in bacon, so it'll have plenty of fat around it. All that work. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay. Okay. This is kind of just a piece that's on there. Maybe I'll start cutting from like, I'll save all this and we can render some fat down from it. We found a bowl. A bowl. Yay! Put it in that bowl. This one. Okay. There's our fat, and we can render that. Okay. Let me look at this. The best option. I think the best option is we're going to start here. So make sure you have a sharp knife when you're cutting your pork loin. I'm going to cut it as thin as almost like a jelly roll cake would be. I did cut through in a couple of spots, but I was able to cover that up a little bit with the rest of the meat. And whenever you roll it up, it's not going to be noticeable. We have a bell pepper and an onion and garlic. However, my camera cut out. I had to change the battery or something, and I didn't get the onion, but you will see onion added to this. So you want to cut your bell pepper and your onion and your garlic up to whatever you like it to be. So however you want it to be in your stuffing, that's how you cut it up. I used 1 bell pepper, 1 sweet onion, and I don't know how many garlic cloves. Okay. Here's what I'm using for seasonings. Smoked paprika, oregano, thyme, cayenne, parsley, salt. This is an old bottle that I keep refilling because I buy the big box. You can use kosher salt, regular salt. I also have some Redmond's real salt. Just some salt. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use avocado oil in the pan. Don't mind this, it's clean, it's just used. I'm gonna use avocado oil to begin the cooking process, and then I'm gonna add olive oil later, at more towards the end. because the avocado oil has a higher burn point than olive oil, and I don't want burned olive oil, or burnt olive oil. I will attempt to give you some measurements, okay? We're gonna attempt it. Ah! So you're gonna go ahead and saute your bell pepper and onions together until your onions become translucent, and then you want to add your garlic in at that point. You don't want to add your garlic in right away because you don't want it to overcook, become bitter. You don't want to burn your garlic, okay? And then after that, you're going to add in your crawfish. So I was just showing crawfish there. I don't know what I was talking about. But add your garlic, saute it for a couple of minutes. Doesn't take long. Add your crawfish in. I probably overcooked my crawfish a bit. You don't have to keep it on there very long. I got distracted because I have a daughter, so yeah. A teaspoon of salt. I'm going to do a teaspoon of salt. We're going to taste it because I know it has a little bit of seasoning left, okay? And I don't want to add too much. We'll do, if I can get this open, a teaspoon of paprika. Shaking the wrong thing there. Oh, that's not even open. I'm just going to start with a teaspoon of everything except for the cayenne. I'm going to do a smaller amount of that because I have Phoebe to feed, so don't want it burning her mouth. But we just want some of that flavor. So I'll probably do like a half a teaspoon of this. Nah, I'm going to do a quarter of a teaspoon just to start and see what it tastes like. Just to be safe. Oregano, we'll go ahead and do a teaspoon. This is the first, y'all. I'm using a measuring spoon just for your benefit. We'll have more. Okay, some thyme. We're going to do a teaspoon of thyme. Probably could have done less thyme, but it's fine. I'm so bad at taking these measurements. I just cook from the heart. Alright, I'm going to add the olive oil in now. And we will just do, what is that? It's probably like a couple of teaspoons, maybe 3. Or maybe a tablespoon, I mean. Look at that, it's so pretty. Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful. Now, if you don't like the smell of seafood, this is probably not for you. Because it does smell like some seafood in here. But I find that quite delicious smelling. The parsley just makes it look so much prettier. We're going to taste this. Try it out. That is where we're going to leave the cayenne. Because it has enough of a kick. And I do not want that to be too hot. It's salty enough. Let's see, let's smell our seasonings. Let's do a little more oregano. Not a whole lot. Probably half a teaspoon. Yeah, that smells right. That smells like what it needs. Yeah, it needed more oregano. Huh. Okay. This is good. Taking that off. I'm going to add a little more olive oil before I put it in the pork loin though. I'm going to let this cool down. It is warm. In there. Stick it all on there. Just go for it. There we go. Yeah, look at that goodness. Okay, here we go. We're gonna roll up, and I'm rolling to the side that I started cutting at. Now, this is where I broke it. I cut through it, so I gotta handle up on that side. There we go. Ah, we're dropping pieces. Okay. Now, look at her. Just look at her. She's glorious. Okay, so if you want to, you can season the outside of it, but since I'm going to put bacon around it, I'm not doing that. So we have our pork loin nice and rolled up. I'm going to wrap mine in bacon and then tie it up as I would a roast. You do not have to wrap yours in bacon. I just like wrapping it in bacon. You can do anything as far as like creating a sauce for it, or you can season the outsides of it however you like to do it. But I do find that bacon wrapping the pork is pretty fantastic. Pork on pork. Once I finish wrapping this up, I'm going to put it on the smoker. I think I smoked it at 250. And it took about 2.5 hours. You want to reach an internal temperature at least of 145. I think mine was up to 155. It's done at 145 though. Alternatively, if I was going to bake this in the oven, I would just bake it at 350 and look for the internal temperature of 145 to 155. If you don't know how to wrap a roast, look it up on Google or something. That's very easy. However, I have used skewers before just to keep it together, and that's worked great. So here it is, all nice and done. I let it rest for a little bit, and then I cut into it, and it is just beautiful, and it tastes beautiful. And that's it, guys. You go ahead, try this recipe out. Let me know how it is. Subscribe to our channel. Like this video, leave a comment, and we'll see you later. Bye.